right, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's make sure we're getting out on the other side here. Let's check our volume. All right, sounds good over there. Good morning, everybody. September 1st, Sunday, September 1st, 2019. Labor Day weekend. Welcome to all of you for the Sunday coffee time morning chooch. And I'm just lining up a couple other things over here. Move that over there. Let's get that over here. I like the fact that Streamlabs starts to become routine the more you use it. That's the way it should be on a program. Jolene, how you doing, sweetie? Love following your adventures and your boys there. It's nice to see somebody. Kids grow up, they get older, and it's really nice to see. Even though they're all growed up and everything, you still have such a close relationship with them on the weekly. I think that is that's fantastic. That is really good. Let me just adjust a few minutes. Yeah, your boy's your heart. You can tell, when I watch your content, I can sure tell that. We get a couple more things set up over here. I hope the sound is good. Got a few things to talk about this morning before I head out today. And put this over here. It's always hard to get these things adjusted on the screen. Let's put this up here. All right. Okay. Why doesn't that move? Why doesn't that move? Sunday. Oh, yeah, I had a little bit of bourbon last night. Okay, so sue me. You like my little... Paul David, how are you this morning? Good morning to you. He says, hi, Rosie, you look lovely today. Thank you. Put my little beauty mark on there just for shits and giggles. I've decided today, Labor Day weekend, I probably will break out the metal detector today and do some metal detecting. I've not done that for a while. I like to go to the high schools, especially days when they're closed down for holidays or weekends. Maybe I'll find something decent. Bella Rose, good morning to you, the Queen of Buffalo. Good morning, Spirit's Heart. How are you today? Nice to see you. Get out there and do a little bit of metal detecting. One of my backbone things that I do on the channel, and over the years I've found some pretty incredible things in the ground around here. And my goal is to be able to take my gear with me on the road and do some metal detecting on the road. I'm very convinced that there's a lot of small towns and places that have never had a metal detector swept over their ground. Yeah, you got to be careful. I'd always make sure my first stop would be City Hall or a police station. I think it just makes sense so people know what the heck you're doing. Do I think Elvis is afraid of the dentist? I don't know. I just don't think it's at the point. This is kind of crunch time down here, right? How you doing, Vanessa? Nice to see you, honey. It's kind of crunch time in the desert down there, the Southwest, and I know the more you fritter away, the more assets get wasted. Sitting down there in the desert, it's kind of, the difficulty comes in this. In the United States, you come in with some rotten teeth, and it's a very easy decision. Like in my case, I told you that the dentist wants to just pull the tooth. He doesn't want to waste a lot of time with it. And this can be a mistake sometimes, as in the case of my dentist. He just wanted to extract a tooth. And I said, well, are you sure that a root canal and a crown can't save the tooth? And he's like, okay, I'll send you over to an endodontist. And for those of you who don't know, an endodontist, the only thing he does is root canal. He or she. How you doing, Jen? And they're the ones that make the final determination of whether really a tooth can be saved. Because if you have a cracked tooth, if you have a tooth that's core rotten, what the endodontist has to do is cut that tooth down to a workable surface, a flat plane under there. But complications arise when you might ground down so far that you're below the gum line, and that's a problem. Because if you take a tooth down below the gum line at the base, a crown has to overlap a little bit at the side. It's not a flush fit. It's not a smooth, hey, lost in space. It's not a perfectly flush fit on the sides, okay? You have to have what they call a little bit of overlap on top so the crown fits above. If that's below the gum line, food that drops down below that works and migrates and bacteria and stuff below the gum line gets into that. If you're too far below the gum line, it's, you have a gap there. It's almost like a step up from the tooth and then to your crown. And that's where more difficulties can set up. MB Reyes, how you doing, honey? Nice to see you. I hope married life is agreeing with you. So this is Around Texas Radio Comedy. Hello. This is kind of a roundabout way of saying if you go to a dentist in Mexico, they're not going to, well, I can't say that. See, I want to be respectful. How you doing, BWW? I want to be respectful to the dentistry profession in Mexico. I don't think I've heard people whipping around that, the dentists are substandard and things like that. I think in Mexico, especially in some of these border towns, with the competition that they have to hit a pretty high standard down there. Now, do I think he's afraid? The issue is this: if you go in, you have to weigh off having a root canal, $250 per tooth. Then you have to put the crown on top of that, another couple $100, porcelain fused on metal or whatever the hell it is. And, they can probably put a crown on every tooth base that's left, but will it last? Will it last? So you have that dilemma of trying to figure out whether you're just throwing your money down the drain or whether it's something worthwhile. You can get an extraction for $50, $100 a tooth, whatever. And then it's done, but unless you have spacers and things like that, you're at risk of your teeth start to shift and they start to move around in your mouth. And you start to create problems with your tooth structure. So what do? What would you guys do? I know some people say go to dental schools in the U.S., but the ones that do the root canals and the ones that do the crowns and things, they're rather rare for having the public come in. It's uninsured doing that kind of work. Most of it is pulling teeth and fillings, pulling teeth and fillings. Yeah, I think that's the truth of the situation. I think the biggest thing that's holding back, and I don't know if research will ever solve this problem. I kind of think no matter how much time you spend in Algodones, this is one of those things, the more you research, the worse it gets. Meaning that you're now running the whole, the dentist in U.S. would say, just pull it, be done with it. Okay, 10% of the dentists in the U.S. might say, okay, we might be able to save this tooth with some heroic dentistry. But you go down there to Mexico, and you can probably get a wider range of opinion on that. Yes, we can save the tooth. No, we can't save the tooth. And you go to one place, two places, three places, four places, five places. And now you're left with a whole range of options, from pulling and recommendations from pulling to crowns. It starts to become an overwhelming amount of information to process. That, I believe, is where the situation is right now. Just tends to be confusing. Okay, that's the real problem down there. I don't think it's so much as a fear factor as it's probably this point in time like an overload of information that is just, it's becoming too hard to process. Because you can find a dentist probably that will attempt to do anything down there. Okay? You know, I think I would also have some counseling to make sure that you know proper dental care, how to take care of your teeth on the daily with floss, maybe a rinse or something like that. I think that could be important because remember in the meantime, there's continuing decay occurring on other teeth too. You drink bottled water and things. I'm not going to get into the debate about fluoride in the water and things like that. Okay, I'm not going to go down that road. But when you're drinking bottled water, I grew up on fluoridation. Okay, a small amount added to the Baltimore City water supply had an immediate effect on reducing the occurrence of dental cavities. You don't have that when you're doing bottled water. So I think it's more important than ever. How you doing, Mr. X-Man? I think it's more important that you step up your preventative decay because, unless you're, things are continuing to move forward. It's like an ocean liner, right? It's like why the Titanic hit an iceberg, because you're moving forward at, even at slow half speed at 10 knots or something like that. And you can't stop on a dime. So this dental decay keeps moving forward in other teeth while, the main problem causing teeth that are apparent on the surface get the attention. So I think it's very critical. Hey, Mel. And who do you complain to if you aren't satisfied? Well, there might be a little more recourse down in Mexico than there used to be. When we think of getting medical procedures done in foreign countries, let's face it, budgetary things drive people to that point. All right? And therefore they start to take the risk. They start, you hope, if you have an anesthesia, you hope you don't wake up. If you wake up, that you're in some garbage dumpster out back of a place that you don't know where the hell you are, with no ID, no money, no nothing. People imagine a lot of scenarios, but in places, thank you, Mel. Yeah, dentists will do topical fluoride applications and things like that. Okay, so, I think that kind of pulls thinking away from having extractions if you have to be under. But on the plus side, Los Algodones, how you doing? There you go, Sky Carl. Nice to see you. From an old dental guy, spot on. So you also have to be concerned on the second level of stopping the decay in other areas and having a gum line power washing below the gum line, scaling, deep scaling and all that. That's going to be very critical. Or you're going to be back in the same situation 6 months from now or a year from now. Like I said, I'm not going to get into the fluoride debate, just like I don't get into the chlorine in water for sanitary reasons. I'll just suffice to say I'm very happy I grew up with that and had both of them in the water supply of Baltimore City. So going into a place like Los Algodones with that developed medical community, and like I say, a lot of you have never been into Los Algodones. I have been. I've seen the medical situations down there. I've seen the layout. The internet really helps a lot, and it hurts a lot too. Why do I say that? Because the internet can overwhelm you with information. All right, we used to go to the sources before. We'd go to a single dentist, get an opinion. Now, no matter what the ache or pain, we can research it on the internet. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, and there's a problem too. You can have too much information, okay? But on the plus side, all these places get reviewed with hundreds and hundreds, and in some cases thousands of Yelp reviews, and it's not the kind of thing that I think can be manipulated. How you doing, bully? Nice to see you. It's not easy to manipulate those things. So people know with the way that information is shared across the platforms that they have to be kind of careful about what goes out there, especially in medical towns like Los Algodones. Their whole town, hey Andrew Scott, their whole town is built on a medical industry, period. I don't care about titty bars. I don't care about the service trades, restaurants, amusement parks and things like that. It's all built on Americans crossing that border to get their teeth done. Now, some people are surprised. A hospital in my city has dental teaching school and everything is free. I don't understand why you wouldn't take my advice. Well, I'm going to tell you why, Mr. X-Man. Because it's very likely your dental school will not provide free root canals and crowns. Okay, most of those schools are geared towards triage or just solving the basic problems. Okay, crowns cost money. They have to take a mold. All right, they have to take a mold of where it's going to be fitted. They have to take the proper color matching. And then they have to send that off to the dental laboratory. They've got to form it, fuse it, treat it, and then send it back to the dental facility to be placed. Sometimes in my case, how you doing, Tisme? Sometimes in my case, the friggin' thing had to be sent back to the laboratory because it didn't fit properly. Now those services cost money. Ceramics cost money. Okay, lab fee and all the work of shaping them. So there's limits. I think people have a mistaken notion of what these dental clinics can do. They're more like, I would say, just being like a goodwill part of the school to help the community and all that. I think a lot of third-year dental students will serve a practicum, or 2-year, whatever it is, will serve a practicum. They'll match them up with certain dentists out there and do the work. Everything costs money. That's why out here in California you have something called, you have Medi-Cal, which is Medicaid, and then you have Denti-Cal. And all Denti-Cal does is just pull teeth and do fillings. That's it. Okay? That's all they do. You're welcome, Mr. X-Man. So I think the thing is, if there's that dental school, and most major cities do, I know dentistry was really pioneered at the University of Maryland. That's where Doc Holliday graduated from dental school. The thing is, you can call those dental schools, ask them if they have a dental outreach practicum clinic, they call it, for for second year or third year students, and they might say yes, it's here between 1 and 4 p.m. It's no appointment, you just walk in, and you ask them what kind of services they perform. Okay, and you can ask them, do you do root canals and crowns? Sometimes I would think, Mr. X-Man, they may say that they do a root canal because it'll save a tooth, but I have serious doubts as if they're going to purchase a ceramic crown, ceramic fused on metal, and just give that to you. They may do a root canal. I don't know, but I kind of doubt if they're going to do the full-on finish job on there. Okay. Because that's where the real money lies. And who knows? It's a lot to think about. And who knows? Suppose I'm a dentist in Algodones and somebody presents with 4 or 5 rotten teeth. I can't guarantee you as a dentist, when I start to take my planer and start to go down on that tooth and lower that tooth surface down, man, there might be so much decay down below that a root canal isn't even possible. Now you have a more difficult extraction. Okay, there you go too. Okay, there's a lot to think about, and I think it's at the point now where things are just absolutely overwhelming. And you need to have some clarity, and you need to just do something, okay? You need to, yeah, they do x-rays, things like that. There's an inspection there too. They need to make sure, yeah, they're not going to treat you if you have any type of infections, okay? If you have an infection and they start messing around and poke a little blood vessel or something like that, and then you get bacteria in your bloodstream, yeah, you guys know the way that you got to make sure that infection is under control. You start to get a blood infection, then you got some really serious problems. It's no slam dunk. How you doing, Johnny West? Nice to see you. It's all money. Shit costs money today. Okay. I'm sure you could fly down to Venezuela with the state of the economy and show up for with $50 American. And if you can find a dentist that still has air conditioning and electricity, you'd probably be glad to do a full rental, full root canal and crown for $50 US. But how low do you want to go? Okay, that's the point I'm making. You know, everybody would like to save their teeth, but sometimes it isn't possible. So my expectation is when you're actually in the chair, that once the endodontist starts to, you know, you're going down. It's like you're mining. You're going down lower and lower on the tooth to try to find one area that can provide a good base. Some people have a tooth that cracks, so they have to take down they have to get below the crack line in there. And I'm surprised. I think at the end of it, there's going to be a combination of extraction and crowns. Just do extraction. They won't show that much, and then later get a partial. Yeah, I don't know. What about pulling and get them partial? What would be the would the cost be within reason? Those things I don't know. I've never had partials. I've never had Maryland bridges, things like that in my mouth. It's just something I fought hard to avoid. I was facing my first extraction last April when my Gorilla Glue failed on my put my cap back on, and then I ended up swallowing it. My dentist had such a hard on to extract that tooth, and I didn't want to give up on it. And a year later, it's still there with the crown and still gone good. Oh, Queen of Dickhead says I worked in hospital dentistry. Isn't hospital dentistry, I mean, if you go into an emergency, let's say you have a car crash and your face is impacted by that crash. And yeah, with those type of traumatic injuries, a dentist will typically, a hospital dentalist will usually be part of the team that will look at, you know, teeth are very important for survival. Okay, and they'll come in and assess the situation and see how many teeth were lost, what can be done, and those kind of things. Yeah, just so I don't know. I can understand somewhat why shopping starts to become overwhelming down there, because every clinic that you go to down there can tell you potentially a different story. Okay? Whereas we know in the US that most of the dentists would not be bothered with, but just go with the extraction route. Learn your lesson about good dental care. But I can't help when there's someone that believes that dental decay starts on the inside of the tooth instead of the outside of the tooth. Okay, there's not much. I'm already lost before I even begin the conversation. How do I tell somebody that no, dental decay is a result of air and matter being pushed against teeth, and that's the fact. That's the fact. You know, medically and physically compromised. Exactly. So hospital dentistry is a whole art in itself. You know, reconstructive surgery and all those. We've seen people in horrific. A great place in the USA is medical college, yeah. Hey Julie, well I know the University of Maryland pioneered a lot of, I think they had the first dental school in the nation, I think in 1810. And as I said, Doc Holliday, the famous Wild West gambler, and was an early graduate of that dental school. No, Rowdy Roddy Piper, I think he's been to many dentists. That's the problem. Everybody will let you in for a free consultation. Okay. That's the reality of that. Okay. I'm going to go grab a cup of coffee real quick and I will be with you guys and we'll wrap up on that topic. Barbie girl, how are you, honey? Nice to see you. You like my little. You should try college. You should always make the call to a dental school. All right. All right. I know UCSF, University of California, San Francisco, they have many medical campuses around the Bay Area. It's one of the top medical school programs in the country. They have they have a walk-in clinic on 505 Parnassus Avenue in San Francisco, but they do not do anything except basic prevented, giving you a cleaning and doing extractions and doing fillings. Beyond that, they don't offer any other service. Brush and floss your teeth daily, twice a day. Well, Queen of Dickheads, hello Zorro, how you doing, Marie? The old saying, if you ignore your teeth, they will go away, and it's very, very true. Spirits, I'm talking about, yeah, thank you. I'm talking about theoretical stuff. I'm no expert on teeth, but having been through the whole drill of root canals and crowns last summer, things are very fresh in my mind. And I also know the layout of Los Algodones. How you doing, Kim C? Nice to see you. Good morning, Mouse Toes. And Mouse Toes, I enjoyed your banana bread very much, honey. Very good video. If you haven't checked out Mouse Toes' channel, check her out. She made a nice banana bread. And I got to tell you, Mouse Toes, that Sunbeam mixer kicks ass. I like it when people use the old Sunbeam mixers and mix masters and all that stuff. It's pretty darn cool. Those things are built like tanks. So this is the situation I find myself in. I want this guy to get the dental work done, okay? And I don't think that with the overwhelming amount of information, it becomes difficult. And, money's being used on the daily. Let's get the fucking thing done. Make a decision and do it and hope for the best. Yeah, she did a very nice video on that. So, will I be putting it in gear for Los Algodones? If, today's Sunday in Mexico, nobody's doing anything down there Sunday in Mexico, and most of the medical offices are closed down there. So we'll see tomorrow. Labor Day is not a holiday in Mexico, so we'll see if things move forward at that point or not. Because I'll probably get my van back sometime this week, I'm hoping. I'm on their rental dime here with their rental car. And car dealers hate to spend their own money. Yay. I think that they're going to try to get this thing wrapped up this week, and then I'll have my wheels. And if he's still frittering around down in Los Algodones, Yuma, I will put it in gear for down there. I have two friends that live in the Yuma area. Missy Jenn and I met down there. And they've already contacted me and have an open invitation to come by, say hi, and meet them. And as I said last night, it's not like you're going to see anything of Yuma, right, on the current coverage. You know, if you want to see Yuma, you know, you got to really, there's a lot to see out there, okay? Yeah, that's fine. IRC bully, no problem. Long live Camperman Elvis. I got no problem with that. I wish everybody success on YouTube, okay? Everybody success. Those bozos, that's what I'm saying, Mark Handler. Imagine I get my van back and I'm going down 100 miles down the road and a freaking check engine light comes on because these guys didn't put the oxygen sensors back in properly. You know, I shouldn't have, you know, I don't know. Most recall work that's done, you never really have to think about a problem. This is the first time I've ever gotten a recall item done, and the guys totally screwed up the job. Well, I didn't go into Happy Jesus. I didn't go into the territorial prison in Yuma because it's money. I get the idea of it. I don't need to see a cell there. Nobody ever got executed in that prison down in Yuma. Okay, that's number one. It's not like San Quentin. You know, nobody really ever got executed at Alcatraz either. Okay, I mean, their reputations are very outsized. Okay, down in Yuma, nobody ever. It was not a place of executions. Okay, so big deal. It's a territorial prison made famous by the movie 310 to Yuma. It's boring, okay? It's just a big territorial prison. What people died of was malnutrition, diseases, smallpox, all that kind of shit. That's what, and you can see the graveyard down there and everything. Yeah, thank you, Mouse Toes. Beautifully said. Suffering the paralysis of analysis with so many consultations. It's absolutely on overload. Okay, that's the reality of it. TMI, too much information. TMO, too many opinions. NEM, not enough money. It's a tough combination. Okay, so you're going to have to roll the dice. There's no other way to put it. Take the dice and roll them and hope that you don't have post-procedural infections and things like that. Okay. If you had an infection down there, see, that's why you got to be careful. You can't immediately take off from that area, okay? In my opinion, no dentist down there is going to let you just walk and not care about what happens after the procedure. I think if you had a dental complication, that they would put you back in the chair or order antibiotics for you. I do believe that they do believe in aftercare, which is a very important component. Okay, if someone told me I'd be watching a grown man, I would have said, you're nuts. Well, it's kind of the things that people say to me. If you told me a year ago I'd be watching some tranny cruising around in the community, I would have said that you're nuts too. I mean, that's the, that's the reality of YouTube. That people that are on the go, people that are living with very limited means, people that interact with other people, people that are low riders like me on YouTube, they make compelling content to watch people because it's people trying to do what they can with a limited amount of money. Shit, I'd like to have a camper van. I'd like to have a nice Class B wide body Pleasure Way or a nice Road Trek 190, 210. I'd love to have that thing. You know, but we have to live with the realities of what we have, and I don't want to be burdened. Hey, VW, but I don't want to be saddled with payments and all that. I refuse to do that. But being on the road, big personalities, it makes for interesting content. What about an older Winnebago Volkswagen? Not really of interest to me. You know, I'm more into the sleek camper vans like the road treks and those kind of things that are low pro. I don't know, Julie Army Mom, and good morning to you, sweetie. Nice to see you. People die there every day from botched plastic surgery. I'm not sure that's the case in Los Algodones, honestly. I don't think that's the case that people die from botched surgeries down there. I think there's a pretty high degree of standards. Where they die of botched surgeries is somebody like Rosie that has a small behind that's a little bigger now, wants to get a Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo butt, and gets a recommendation sitting around a beauty shop one day or whatever, and hears somebody, here's Rosie moaning and groaning that she wishes she had a big hiney, and the hairdresser's like, oh, well, I know a gal that does injections, and they send them to one of these back alley places, and they get their ass injected with industrial silicone, or worse, and then that's where people die with that kind of shit. Okay, that's where people die. Goldie Con, good morning. Yeah, cement injections, all that kind of stuff. It's one thing to take fat from your belly, purify it, and put it in your butt. It's another thing to, that's a real command decision to sit there with a big syringe full of industrial silicone and pump up your ass, okay? Yeah, you might feel good. You might feel really great when you look in the mirror the first week or so, and then you have any kind of silicone reaction or any kind of impurities went in there, well, it's game on, and you go back to your back alley person, and they're gone, man. They're not around. How you doing, Jordan? Senorita Rosie, Los Algodones, Mexican wedding time. Tiempo de fiesta, time of the fiesta. Yeah, hotel injections in the hood. Thank you, Goldie Con. That's what people die of. We see it all the time in the news. This poor Korean girl she started out as a lovely looking girl. She weren't no supermodel. She wasn't no supermodel, but she was an attractive Korean girl. And she was so desperate, the physicians were like, honey, we don't want to do any more shaping of your face. So she takes cooking oil and starts to inject it into her face, and you can see the video. It's a horrific result. Disfigured for life. All right. Yeah, fish lips and all that kind of stuff. Let's see, Tom Tompkins, I must admit it's really hard to understand how Full can't make his own decision, needs to have his hand held. I just can't get my head around it, just saying. Doesn't need to have his hand held, Tom Tompkins, but he needs to understand, he'll probably move forward this week. He's got insurance and stuff like that. That's why I provided an address at least so that he could have the insurance forms and shit mailed. But ain't nobody can hold anybody's hand to get anything done down there. Plus, I think if you've not been to the dentist in 20 years, I'm not saying that's the reality. A lot's changed in 20 years, and people usually associate dentistry with, you mentioned, I got to go to the dentist today, and oh shit, you're keeping you're crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. But it's not it's not like going to a titty bar, okay? It's like, it can sometimes be a place of bad news, all right? And that's what I'm saying, so. The problem is, that's what I'm saying, man. I don't want to go down. I'd love to have an enormous ass like J-Lo, but you got to check your. Thank you, new subscriber. You got to check yourself with the realities of what's out there. That's why I trust FDA decisions. They have things like Aquacel, I think that's what it's called, which is an injectable that's approved in some countries, but it's not approved in the United States. So you'll have medical expeditions to Colombia, Peru, and these kind of places to get that done. How you doing, D? Good morning. What's the news? What's the news? Let me see. Oh, you just got the scooter fixed. Fantastic. Make sure you road test that. Allie Pally, hi, sweetheart. Sorry I'm missing to you. Sorry I missed you on the side chat. Doctor that, let me see here. I kind of missed doctor that you trust and knows. Yeah, I got a good dentist, and I was lucky I had a good endodontist. I may or may not be, JK. I don't know. That's good stuff, Jordan Blue. That used to be on this. That's on the streets of Santa Rosa. The corn with the mayo, and it's often the field corn, and sometimes that stuff when it's prepared can be delicious. And I mean, let's face it. Uh, and I didn't want to say this yesterday, but I hate to say that a lot of the fields in Mexico and a lot of fields in China are fertilized with human feces and waste products. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I know it's Sunday morning. You're just putting your Bibles away and getting back from church and getting ready to chow down on your bacon, eggs, and biscuits. But that's the reality. Okay, that's the reality. So, you know, okay, field corn. It's not like they're gonna take DuPont's Pioneer Division's latest and greatest fertilizers and use it. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? And sometimes contamination goes through the food chain, and then you know, okay? It is a fact. It is an absolute fact. And you don't want to, as a general rule, you don't want to fertilize with your own waste product. It's okay to cross fertilize with cow shit, horse shit, chicken shit. But there's a reason in the United States that we don't, we got waste treatment plants that would love to get rid of all the human shit that's out there. But there's a reason we don't truck it out to farms and spread it, because it's pathologically it's not a good idea to do so. Vinny, how you doing, sweetie? Yeah, that's it. The corns, exactly. Exactly. You too, JK NoCal. Check out JK's NoCal with his forest of pot. Oh, cool rainy day. Mike Loyal, how you doing? Good day for a naked day. There you go. I was actually thinking about going up the river today and mucking around on the Russian River. Teeny weeny bikiniing around, but I think I'm going to do some metal detecting today. It's why we can't get romaine lettuce. We test it. We test stuff here. There are no big standards, but don't get the idea Mexico is a destitute third world country. They do have standards. It's just hard to enforce them because it's a very thin layer of government in Mexico. The other thing I think astounds people is that I know some people have messaged me and said, ha ha, look at what happened. Watch what happens at the Mexican border now when Marshall goes over. They're going to nail him at the border, okay? For those of you who have not been to the Mexican border, it's just walk through a turnstile. That's all it is. There's no officer on the other side to check your papers. There's no passport. This is one reason why criminals who have committed capital acts and gigantic acts of fraud and things make a dash for Mexico, because you can just walk in across the border and ain't nobody stopping you from walking in. They could care less. Border control, you just don't even see them unless you're driving in a vehicle and you pull up and you tell them. They're going to ask you, do you have insurance? Because U.S. insurance doesn't cover in Mexico. You have to purchase it at the border if you drive in. And you either say yes or no, and they're like, have a good day. Just understand, if you have an accident in Mexico and you don't have insurance, they will make themselves whole with whatever you got down there. Your vehicle, everything, okay? Lisa Marie could hold 50 illegals. That would be a tough fit in there. So my thinking process was that I'm going to be down in the San Diego area anyway, and some things are shaping up for San Diego. Okay, I got a lot of nice people out there that like to do things for the channel, and I'm very appreciative of that. And Los Algodones is not a far journey from San Diego there, so so we shall see. So as far as as far as dental and stuff like that is concerned, have you ever tried panning for gold? I got my gold kit back here, but I've never done that. I've never done that. 75 keys of weed, 1,000 per to the match, catching new class B. I don't know. Instead of, I just enjoy metal detecting, you know, because I've gotten some great shit out of the ground. Most of the time it's just coins and stuff, but we'll see. So it's not that big a deal. It's not that much of a change of plans for me. You know, D's got his van gone. Now he's got his scooter gone. So he'll be. It looks like all points are headed to San Diego anyway for the fall. So in any event, it'll be good content for you guys. You know, good laughs, good shock value, whatever comes up. Yeah, I really enjoy metal detecting. Go metal detecting old gold mine tailings, exactly. Yeah, he is Jordan Blue. Aquachig is, and there's some young kid too that was, yeah, gold runs north to south. What does that mean going home, Nikki? I'm not sure what that means. What home? He doesn't have a home. This guy inherited a buffer from his father and a ticket to hell off the property. So there ain't no going home to Arkansas. So I know a guy who got caught with weed and a surfboard. It was a scam. Oh wow, wow. I wonder what they did, JK. Do you think they sawed it open, or do you think that they tried to take an X-ray? You think they tried to take an X-ray of it? All he has is a rack for the scooter. Hopefully the van already has it. I'm not sure if that van can handle a scooter. Mark Handler, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that if I'm not sure if D's van could handle a scooter. I'm just not sure. Let's see. I designed a unique magnet fishing and grounded. That's cool, Gothic Child Creations. Good for you. That's pretty good. You seem like a pretty smart person to be able to put that get together. For me, if I go into Los Algodones, it's strictly for pleasure and fun. I think it's a safe place, and you know, God knows you're not going to get the content out of what's going on down there now. And it's the kind of place where you want to do video content and then come back and upload that so people get a much better idea uh, about the place and about Yuma. I've never done magnet fishing before. No, I've not, because most times I don't want to. I don't want to bring up something that is magnetic. You know, most of that just tends to be iron and steel, that type of thing. Old subwoofer magnets. Yeah, that's it's fun. It's right. Bright red surfboard. The seller and the border patrol just use the same surfboard over and over, getting government money to let the people go. Okay. It's not 100% pleasure and fun, jetpack. So come on in one of your other troll accounts. You know, don't have the courage to use the name that you troll Elvis's channel with, so you come in here with some other ridiculous made-up name. Let's see, Government Cheese, Rosa's Cantina. You know, I'm on permanent holiday, so I can do what the heck I want to do. It's just a shame that you're so over-invested in his life on the daily. I think that's the thing that surprises me the most. Get out there and do some metal detecting. Get out there and take a walk, man. Get out there and do something with your life. Oh, it's just a hobby of yours. Cool. Cool. It's a good time. You know, I'm on. Every day is Saturday. Yeah, I would say that's a perfect choice of words, Jetpack. I'm not invested in it. I'm living my life. Vegas, San Diego, LA, Portland, up to the Northwest. Yeah, there's a obsession. It's just an obsession with it. And I'm thinking, go do your thing, man. Thank you very much, Superfly. But, you know, I respect you for having a decision. But why wouldn't my trip be 100% pleasure? If you video Elvis in a donkey show with the donkey, I'll PayPal $500. Holy shit, Vinny. Vinny, you missed my comment down there. Your chat was rolling so fast. I said you probably have that place going like the prison scene out of Goodfellas. You know, have that joint jumping down there. Um, yeah. So I'm not paying for any dental shit or anything. How you doing, Harvey De Niro? I'm paying my own way. Yes, I get a good level of support for people, but I'm bringing content. No, he didn't whip it out. Proof positive of that is that Holly's video with Marshall and it stayed up for days. And there's people that immediately long form here that get results within 5 or 10 minutes when they long form strike somebody. So I also saw the camera never went below waist level down there, and he did have shorts on. So as much as that doesn't hew to the program and doesn't fit the narrative, Holly's channel came down because of an encoded video of the Christchurch shooting. When that plays, it automatically triggers the algorithm notification in YouTube that this video has been played somewhere, and they automatically terminate your channel. If it had been exposure, it would have been one strike on the channel. Oh, you like the Friday restaurant reviews? Johnny West, there's more than 150 restaurant reviews up there on channels. Restaurant reviews on the road and restaurants, but you'll never see trolls comment on them because it's all single focused on the negative stuff that happens on YouTube. But the good news, if you're a content creator, that's the stuff that grows your channel over time, because people watch those reviews and they'll comment on it and they'll share it, and it's a good thing. And oftentimes you hear back from the back from the restaurants that review too. Okay, we don't eat no raw fish, man. It is good. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button. Thank you, Bully. It is good. It is good. I love sushi, but it has to be a deep water fish. Okay, that's what you use. You know, tunas, salmon, that type of thing. Ocean fish. I don't like to eat freshwater fish. All right, Harvey. You know what, Harvey? That's good. You got that. But Harvey, this is about talking about what's going on in my life. I love you, but you know, I'd like to see you interact more with what's going on here. Does the Zorba dance? Whoopa. I'm not quite sure what that means. Yeah, escape with Rosie. Thank you, Goldie. Thank you. So we'll have a good time. No matter what happens on the road, a lot of people will be watching. A lot of people will be keyed into it, and that's cool. Do your own thing on YouTube, okay? I love you, Harvey, but, you know, I just do that to bust Harvey's balls. I'm just kidding, Harvey. Do what the hell you want to do. Hey, Nate, how you doing? Chill promoting your channel. That's all you. I do a lot to promote people's. I'm happy to promote people's channel. Thank you, Superfly. Says I love how comfortable and confident you are. Thank you. Like I say, I've made a shitload of mistakes on YouTube over the years, and you better own it. No, there's no marriage down there. No marriage. No marriage at all. All right, I'll be right back, and then we'll move on and just put the tail end on this discussion. I'll be right back. Okay. How's everything overseas? Good. All right. Open mic there. All right. Back. Missy Jenn in the house. Missy Jenn in the house. Good day, Baltimore Clipper fans all over the world and beyond. Let's roll that beautiful bean footage right now. Let's take an intermission. Get ready. When you Baltimore Clippers, when you Clippers from Baltimore, fight you Baltimore Clippers. First pump, fight for a Baltimore score. Defensemen, forwards, and goalies, we'll win without a doubt. For Baltimore and Maryland, every Clipper fan will shout, fight, fight, fight. When you Baltimore Clippers, when you Clippers from Baltimore, fight you Baltimore Clippers and score. Get ready, take it up a half step. Now you're rocking in that arena, baby. Those dreaded Hershey Bears. We'll win without a doubt. Get ready, another half step. Ladies and gentlemen, we request that you refrain from throwing any objects on the ice. Thank you. Here we go. When you Baltimore Clippers. What a great fight song, huh? When you Clippers from Baltimore, fight you Baltimore Clippers and score, score, score. Oh man, if that doesn't get your day, if that doesn't pump up the blood, I'll tell you, nothing does out there. Love that, man. Love that. That brings back such memories of the 1960s, growing up in Baltimore. Scores through. Waiting for you to dress for this song with your twirling your baton. There we go. Oh, that's fun. That's funny. Yeah. So that wraps that up. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I know I just flow. I just as far as wrenches are concerned, somebody made a comment that there's a lot of blue in here. Actually, for the channels, I have, and sometimes the size of the chat's well over 200, sometimes 350 people in these chats. I always have the same wrench core in here. Okay. But they don't always make it into the chat, and they're not required to or expected to. You want to go to some of the other channels that have streams that stick a wrench in every person's hands. Okay, there you go. I'm not sure, D-Dubs. I'm not sure. I remember the Baltimore Orioles against the Detroit Tigers in the 1969 World Series. Wrong. The Orioles and Detroit were in the same division. Okay, they were both in the American League. You're thinking about the those amazing Mets and Orioles 1969, and then the Orioles beat Cincinnati Reds, the Big Red Machine, in 5 games in 1970. Okay. Orioles won in 1966. They swept the Dodgers in 4 straight games. Jim Palmer beat Sandy Koufax. Dave McNally beat Don Drysdale. And the rest is history. Jim Palmer became the youngest person ever to throw a World Series shutout. Okay? All right, 4 straight right there. 69, 70, and 1983. They lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2 World Series. Remember that we are family shit with the Pittsburgh Pirates and stuff like that. Yeah, they beat the Dodgers 4 straight, baby. They beat the Dodgers 4 straight. Yeah, that was a heck of a. That's the first. I mean, the town went crazy in 1966 when that happened, because they've been in Baltimore for 12 years, having moved. The St. Louis Browns moved to Baltimore. Detroit, yeah, under Denny McLean, and they were somewhere in there. I think it was 1968 that Detroit won the World Series. I don't know. I think that was the one. Yeah, I remember Mickey Lolich and some of the great Tigers there. Doo-doo Browns. There we go. Somewhere in there, the Detroit, 1968. Thank you. I got a pretty good memory for World Series. I was very spoiled when I grew up. I never knew how spoiled I was. Look at all these rotten years the Orioles have put together. Just rotten, rotten, rotten. Man, I grew up. The Colts were winners. The Orioles were winners. The Bulls. Do 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 do. All right, let's see if we can get this. Let's see here if this is gonna go again. Stream resumed. The stream is continuing. Let's see if this thing works. Let's see if the stream continues here. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Amazingly. 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 We are back. Am I back on? Yeah, there we go. Okay, you sent me love. Okay. Let's see if I'm back on the air. Somebody can tell me if I am back. Give me a 77 if you can see me on the side chat there. Yeah, the Orioles, 71 Orioles had 4 20-game winners. Palmer, Cuellar, Dobson, and McNally. Let's see. Okay, I am back. I like the way that you can resume the stream. The van broke call Rosie. I like that. I love that name, the van. The van broke, call Rosie. the creativity is astounding in here. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes you have a glitch with YouTube and things like that. That's pretty damn funny. The van is broke. Call Rosie. So you got to understand, there's a lot of people. Very few people were here. There's very few people here in the chat that were around in 2015 when Hangouts started. Most people that come in, as the channel grows, you take in more and more people on the channel, right? So you have people coming into the community in the last 6 months, the last year or so, as a result of the ripple effects of a channel on YouTube, but they don't know a lot of the backstory that occurred 4 years ago. How you doing, Nicholas? And they don't do the research to see things on there, so they think that you know, the friendship that I've had with Marshall is just something that started in 2019 or something like that. So back page, yeah, that's funny. Better call Sal. Better call Sal. I got some of my own moderators that would like to put my head in a vice and just kind of turn. I found that in the last year you could comment on YouTube videos. I still feel like a virgin to all this. I don't know, it's, yeah, I mean, you can put your comments under there, no problem at all. Yep. So I think that that's the thing that people don't realize. There's been a long-standing, you know, times in Vegas, times in Chicago. We just finished that whole Great Lakes Tour 2019 up in Chicago, Detroit. Can you do a documentary vid on Boyd history? Now, I will tell you this, Shay, that's a good idea. And I've talked about the history of Boyd before. But certain people have certain ideas about what defines Boyd. You know, Jeff T. Rowe, people like Melton John, they believe Boyd's like a 2008, 2009, when people would clap back with, how you doing, man, John? And when people would clap back and forth with videos, there were no hangouts. To my mind, what defines the birth of the current Boyd was when live streaming was allowed on YouTube in 2015. That's a great dividing line. That's the equivalent of like the Industrial Revolution in society. That's like the equivalent of the New Testament in society, okay? Before you could do YouTube Hangouts, nobody cares about the clapback videos. It did happen back then. Who cares? But people could put people on panels starting in 2015. That was the origins of the real Boyd that we know today. People on panels. Things started out real good. You know, as far as our, you know, the current Boyd was really built out of the RV community. Okay, there's a guy, Drury Nadab, the Godfather, who used to host Friday night chats. And for the most part, they were focused on RV living every Friday night. He'd start about 8 p.m. on the East Coast and go the full 8 hours. And people lined up. People lined up to be on his panels and stuff. And they'd have to write them doobie 54 at, you know, yahoo.com or whatever, and he would send the link. Yeah, that's when it got real. So I don't care about people that claim that they were old Boyd. What really defined this Boyd was hangouts and being able to have hangouts on public. And what started as an RV community, I drifted in because I wanted to buy an RV, and in 2015, as a result of having this desire to buy an RV, I started looking into RVs. I discovered Drury's chat, and I went into that chat with the intention, and let me tell you, it took a lot of courage to push that button. He sent me a link. Push that button and go in to that first chat, knowing full well that I'm trans, gone into that chat, and then the rest is history. People from the trans community followed me into the platform. Amanda May, Nicole G, Francis, Debbie Lynn, just a host of other ones came into the community. I think Mallory discovered the community. And then you had random people come in that would want to join the chat. One of them was Corey, so fuck it, she came in, and everything was pretty cool. She didn't have an RV or anything like that, but she thought it was a cool. We had Kat come in and join the chats, and these people didn't have any RV background or anything. And then Shannon, I see Shannon here. She was on there before I was on Jory's chats. And they really didn't have any RV connections or anything. And over time, you know, the friction started to develop. You had a lot of alpha personalities on there. And eventually there was a big split in the community. One of the big splits was over e-begging, you know, nomadic fanatic. And the other one was people that weren't in the RV community would be on panel and stuff. And it just, RV people started to roll off and go their separate way. And we were left with the true Boyd community. And you are so loved. Look at you. Well, yeah. I can't say I'm so loved. You know, there are some people that believe that I pull strings and other things. But the reality is, if you look back through my history, I've always tried to be a pretty kind person on YouTube and stay clear of the drama and stuff like that. And I appreciated Rory. I've met him multiple times in Florida, and we have remained great friends to this day. You know, your channel is much better than the other one. You know, yeah, I'd like to do a variety channel. And that's when I first met Marshall in 2015. And, you know, I'd be watching Jory's chats before I went on, and I'm like, who in the hell is this kook? Nomadic Assyrian Elvis Van Dweller channel. And I'm like, what the hell is that about? And then I went on panel and we got into an after chat or something, and that was that was pretty damn funny. And the rest is history. About 4.5 years of doing this. That's why it's not so easy for me to just bump somebody by the wayside and move on. That's not the way I am. Okay, that's not what I do in life. And some of you may hold differently with recent events in 2019, but that's because I was changing my channel to not do hangouts anymore and get on to other things. When you retire, please write a book with all these players. Who would believe it? Bernard says, that's how I found you, Rosie, was RV fixes and was so amazed with your knowledge and your amazing skills. Well, thank you. That's sweet. Yeah, I mean, but it was fun. You know, we enjoyed hanging out together in Chicago. We enjoyed our trips to Las Vegas. Yeah, sometimes it resulted in us getting the royal boot from places, but overall, I think Missy Jenn would be in agreement, and Bobby, we always have a good time. Let me see what this says here. Let me see what, did you give, no, man, John, I didn't. So you get, you know. Did you give D-Dub a BJ behind the Safeway, Rosie? Well, we all want to know. What do you think of that, Jen? Oh, shit. That's, I mean, Missy Jenn's laughing her ass off over here, you know. Have a good day, man, John. Have a good one. These people will comment for 10 minutes and then they'll say what they truly came in to say. Yeah, vintage audio and all that stuff. So the community started to split. You'd have you know, Corey went off and started doing her own chats. So fuck it. Started being in competition Friday night with Drury. In other words, they were very big personalities. There was a lot of ego-driven stuff. You know, who's the best and who's. But make no mistake about it, Drury's really the godfather of the Boyd, and the backbone of the Boyd is still the RB community. Okay, thank you, Kiki69, new sub, and Justy adore you. Thank you, sweetie. It has been. I'm very grateful that I'm not even on the road yet, and you know subs are accelerating on the daily, and I'm really liking that. So it's gonna be. I don't think I'll reach 30,000 by Christmas, but you never know. So we'll see. Be fun. You should never have to justify any relationship. Well, that's what I'm saying. If you don't like it, don't watch. You know, as much as I like Colleen and I enjoy her content, I watch her videos. I made a suggestion on putting thumbnails, you know, making a nice thumbnail because she lives in a beautiful place, Hawaii. She's not the first one that set up a side alternate chat where people could go to and, you know, like Elvis is streaming or something like that, and a gathering place. But you got new people in that they think it's all new, like they've invented this shadow chat. These things have been going on for years, for 4 years. Chats will pop up, you know, we're going to bring this guy down and blah, and then they fade away and new people come on. They think they've discovered something here, then they fade away. Okay. I mean, that's just the reality of things. Oh, you got a Keurig, right? And I just think, you know, you're actually, what you're doing is working counter to what your hope is. If you don't want to bring attention to somebody, then you don't watch, you block, you unsub, and you do your own content. Go out and watch fishing videos. Go out and watch underwater basket weaving videos. But when you host chats like that are just dedicated to talking about somebody else, what you're doing is drawing more people in from other communities, and you know you're contributing mostly to the problem. You know, yeah. I mean, it's you know, like I always said, bully. Finances at the end of all. Finances are the things that bring people down. Okay, the realities of a camper van that blows up or something like that. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I've had a lot of people come in. There's a lot of people that came over to my channel to his channel. No, I like Colleen as a person. I really do, and I enjoy some content that she brings. She does talk about the coffee farm and do some nice videos. I make some put a nice thumbnail on your video or something like that. But you can be over invested in things, you know, like you're over there, you got all that great content to bring. Do you really want to, you know, beat on the daily this thing? It's like, to me, if you know, if I was a strategic war planner, I would just not watch, you know, just not be a part of it. So yeah, there's a, yeah, I'm not going to say that, but you know, I'm not going to say that because I do like Colleen, and I don't mind the opinions that she expresses about me. She's very kind to me. Some people in her chat aren't so kind, but that's fine. You know, with the misgendering and all that, that's okay. You know, that doesn't bother me. She just does. Yeah, she's a capable gal. You know, she's a strong, independent woman, and I admire that about her. But I'm saying, if you think that you're solving the problem by doing that, you're not. Okay, you're just another ripple that's moving out from the rock, and that's what it is. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I say, I like Colleen a lot. I do enjoy watching when You know, she's a good hostess, and I enjoy it when Hop Frog is on there doing his things. I love parody stuff. It's cool. Expend some of this energy. There you go, Tanya. Vicky says I watch Elvis because it's like watching a train wreck. Well, we're all kind of train wrecks on here, so. She wants it. Did you go to Dave's? Did you get Dave's lackeys to talk about Holly's channel because you know they were jealous she was getting that Norm F money? Oda been begging for money for plastic surgery. Let's see. Master debater the second. I don't know. Holly's a friend of mine. To take out, talk out Holly's channel. I think Holly's channel was taken out because somebody showed up and rolled the. See, there's another person that doesn't have the courage to leave the message up. Master debater. In which case, I'll just send him to the exits forever. Okay, boom, okay. Don't come in here and be a retractor, okay? Have some courage, all right? That's my basic tenet in here. All right, get some Ben and Jerry's. That's what I'm saying. Holly and I are very good friends. I took time for an hour to give Holly very good advice on how to get her channel back. So she knows which side. She knows which side I am on her. Yeah, it's a good way if you don't have the courage to leave your comment up and you have to be a retractor. I see these people on other channels that are retractors and things, and it's like, what's the advice? Can you share the advice with us? Which advice is that, Star Walker? Which advice do you want me to share? Oh, you can go look at the Hangout. It's all up on the Hangout. It's all up on the Hangout, yeah. But people will try to bleed over what happened to somebody else. They'll try to put the pin, you know, they work very hard to try to pin the tail on the donkey on you that you're the one that did it, even though I'm rarely, if ever, in Holly's chats and things. And I like Holly. I enjoy Holly. And I've been, I'm number 2 in terms of people that have enjoyed the support of the Canadian Clipper, Norm F. Okay. He's been very kind to me. Why? Because he likes the content that I bring. Okay. How you doing, Monique? Nice to see you. Boy Pinata. I'm going to have a Hurricane Dorian dance for trying to teach my husband's service dog to limbo. Yeah, so I like Holly very much, and I even baked some brownies in honor of Holly Dead's Batshit Crazy Brownies on Friday night. That was a lot of fun doing that. There's nobody that I hate on YouTube, okay? And certainly not enough to take down the channel because of what they're doing. And frankly, I don't know what Norm does, you know? You know, Norm is very unpredictable. Missy Jenn is around here somewhere. Just to go on, if there's no more questions about that, yeah, I want to just talk about, yeah, it was fun. It was a good, go over to the Rosie McNamara channel. You can see the baking on there. The best brownies I ever had, hands down. They were amazing. Negative. Norm's a cyber renegade. Yeah, I don't know what Norm's going to do next. You know, but I know that he has equal rights to be on the YouTube platform and do what he wants to do. I can't control the guy, you know. Let's talk about mobile IRL streaming gear. I get contacted a lot on the daily. What do you really need to do mobile streaming? You need to have a mobile streaming app. I'm not going to go into that. This is going to be short. You need to have a nice selfie stick to be out there streaming. Okay? Handheld sucks. You can't possibly hold up a camera all that time. Get yourself a good selfie stick with a good strong holder on the top of it. Okay, because this is taped up. It's been used so much. You're going to need a decent cell phone. one of the big bugaboos of mine is people go out there and it's the footage is unstabilized or whatever, and it's very difficult. It's like watching the Blair. It's like watching the Blair Witch Project sometimes. Okay, turn on your camera's stabilization if it's equipped with it. Okay, very important. Or get yourself a gimbal. Now these things are bulky, I know, but these will smooth out your footage. It's very easy. Very easy to mount these things up, and they have a series of counterbalances on them, and it works real well. I don't like to take them out. This is like a $99 item here. Okay, it works very well. Okay, I don't really use it, all right, because I got some stabilization. You're going to need an external battery pack if you want to chooch for more than an hour or two. You're going to need a good cord. I recommend that you use a black cord. Don't use a white cord. Okay, white just draws attention. All right, you start to look like a production. You start to look like a production house. If you have a black cord, you have this in your pocket, you hold that close on there, it's not going to be a problem. Okay. Use an external battery pack. I can go for 32 hours with this external battery pack. Okay, no filters. No filters. Okay. This thing is great for 59 bucks or whatever, 30,000 milliamp hours. Yeah, it's heavy in my pocket, but it's good. I can shoot 8, 10 hours, whatever I want to do on there. Number 3, don't go stealth. Okay. My biggest piece of advice, what's up? My biggest piece of advice along that lines is give people a chance to say no to your video. All right. When you see me on the street, people, hey, what are you doing? I'm doing a YouTube live stream. What is that? Well, I got people watching this right now. Don't go into a place in stealth mode and video people without them knowing what you're doing. Okay. It's okay in a real public place like an airport, places like that. But, you know, if I go in with something like this and you honestly talk to people, oh, that's Skiwee, that's who that is. He came back again. Yeah, Skiwees, you know, you felt like they do your dirty work to make up drawing the troll knowing they were being trolled. Yeah, well, master debater. Yeah, just give him the, this guy's so, this Skiwee's so desperate to contrive BS. I'm glad. Just give that guy the gate whenever he shows up on site. So, yeah, so give people the option to say no when they're being videoed. And if you do that in stealth mode, I just don't think it's the right thing to do. When I'm carrying this around, then people know what I'm doing, and then they have the ability to do it or not. When you're talking about being in stealth mode, it means having like Google glasses that have a little camera on the side of them, or having a camera that's on a lanyard around your neck that's video recording. Okay, you know, most people, when you're videoing, you'll have the camera up here. You won't have it down on your chest. Okay, this gives people an out. Here in restaurants, I always ask them if they mind if we do videos and all that. Give people the option. Give people the option to say no. I do not use an external microphone on this. I just think if I add an external microphone, then I need a splitter down here for that external. I could plug it into the jack here, but then it starts to become a little. Then I've got like I got a microphone at the front of it, and that's yeah, that's no good. Yeah, there's no expectation of privacy anywhere in public, but give the people an out. Give them a chance to say, I don't want to be in your, okay, I just to put my camera down, that's it. They're happy. I'm happy. Okay? That's the reality. Sometimes a microphone gives better cams. Yeah. Gothic said spy cams are illegal here in New York and drones also. Meows. Yeah. Yeah, it's courtesy. It's courtesy. All right. It's just the proper thing to do when you do that. And you'd be surprised. 99, 95 people out of 100 are going to be really cool with video, and because they know they're in public places and things like that. You can get Elvis weddings, and you can have a lot of fun doing that. Why would you need an extra mic? Just for better sound quality. Can I get a swig from the one in the middle? Which one is in the middle? Oh, the booze back here. Just bought my son external mic for iPhone. Olympus had good reviews. Little thing just plugs in. Yeah, I have one too. Yeah, I don't think I'm an e-begging bum. You can let that stand. Yeah, I don't care. There's just it shows it shows the absolute measure of how desperate people are to do that. So I'm so glad I'm retired. So. Just to put a final wrap on that, so that's just my best advice. And the most important thing of all is, before you fire up your stream, make sure that you clean your lens. Okay? How many times do you clean your lens on your phone before you take a photo or do a video? The answer is probably rarely. But when you're live streaming, and I've got the crappy windshield that's dirty, you guys notice that kind of stuff. Can't always be perfect, but you'll notice dirty windshields and things like that. Well, you want to make sure that you take time to clean your lenses front and rear. Okay, you just get much better image quality. Let's see, filming, droning in Central Park or Times Square is legal, but don't go beyond these points. Oh, that's cool. Were you self-conscious the first time you streamed in public? My baby Bella, if you go back and look at my videos beginning in 2013, I've been doing street videos for over 7 years. What was different, I was not streaming at that time. I had like a GoPro camera, and I would be walking on the street, meeting interesting people and stuff, and then coming up and uploading that in the afternoon. Okay, what I call chooching, going out and chooching and doing things like that. So yeah, that was so I'm used to street streaming for years. I know how people are going to react and do that. What do you use to clean your lens? If you have a t-shirt, take part of your t-shirt. Okay. Take something soft, piece of clothing, anything that you can. Don't use any paper towels and that just scratches the lens. Yeah, no drones in restroom. Yeah, the wet t-shirt. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, how did this become sexual? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not quite sure how it became that way. Anyway, I'm going to put a wrap on here now. I want to thank you all for coming in this morning. Like I say, my situation's very fluid with the van, so I am going to just play it by day. I think the soonest I can roll out is next Saturday and Sunday, and we'll just play it by ear. All right, so I want to thank you guys for being along today, and have yourselves a happy Sunday. Hi, Mr. Z. I'm going to head out and do some metal detecting today. Woo! Thanks, everybody.